Guys, I just got wrapped up with Pop. It's absolutely incredible story. If you haven't heard it, you're absolutely going to love this. I drop a little bit of knowledge about some marketing stuff. I gave away some free stuff. I gave him a book that's near and dear to me that helped me in my life. So just watch this. So the way that I start my podcast is I've always found, and I've been doing this for 8 years, interviewing people, podcasting people, stuff like that for 8 years, is instead of being like, all right, we're going to start now, I just hit record and then I just start talking, because you never know what good content is going to come out before.
Gotcha.
That makes sense?
Gotcha.
So I always tell, and Ryan didn't notice, hello, Ryan. I always tell my guy, hey, when we sit down, I'm going to put him in headphone land and get him in this little mode. And I said, just hit record. And then I tell the person like you, I'm like, I know this is nervous. I know this is a little nerve wracking, but like, here's how we're going to start. I'm going to start when I say, hey, how'd you get into this? And I always forgot, how did you start this? I think you told me the story when I first met you.
Yeah. I don't mind going over it again. So I got into the recording studio after working several jobs.
Yeah.
That were working out, but not really. You know what I mean? I was able to have money sometimes to last me, throughout the 2 weeks, but not all the time. And I just felt like I couldn't see a way out. How am I going to stop living from check to check? I was always in a position of where I'm like, dang, man, I got to pay my boss man back because he had to help me out of the hole. And one day I just decided to go out on a limb and kind of try to start my own thing. And the first thing I did was a clothing store. And I told my fiance, who I'm with now, when we first met, I told her my vision and what I wanted to do, and she was kind enough to help me out with it. And that's when I started my first clothing store. And it wasn't so easy. First of all, you got to set everything up to where, you got everything what you need in that same city. I didn't have all the money, the resources I needed, so it was real difficult for me to travel to get the clothes, the shoes, and stuff I needed.
Yeah.
And I didn't have like a contract or anything with Nike.
Yeah.
Failed miserably on that.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a good look for me. As far as like making the money, I made enough just to pay the bills with, and not enough to go home and pay bills with.
It's so daunting, even as a new business owner myself, right? You got to go, how do I get an LLC? How do I do an EIN? How do I get a business bank account? How do I get a credit card?
Yeah.
Like, because they're asking for the EIN, and then you can't find it in your email because you put your personal email address in there, and then that gets lost. You got to run to the bank and they're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I need my EIN. They're like,
yeah, well,
there's a bunch of stuff to get started.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it seems so daunting for a business owner to get started. And that's why I'm always interested in hearing how people got started, because it's like everything tries to hold you back.
Yeah.
There seems like such a list that needs to happen. And instead of just starting, most people will go, oh, it's too much. I'm just going to go back to the job.
Yeah, it got to that point with me a couple of times where, I was just like, I don't see this working for me. I have to revert to, back to my job. And I'm just like, man, I don't want to do that either. You know what I mean? So maybe I just need to go a little bit harder or do something different. Like I said, I found myself reinvesting and I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere even after 2 years. So then I came to the conclusion that, hey, maybe you're in the wrong business. So I switched it up. And after trying a couple of different businesses, I learned that it wasn't the fact of being in the wrong business. It's about how long it's going to take you before you can progress to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you got to be able to maintain that. I didn't have the capital to do that.
Right. And from when we first talked, and I have to talk about the first, like how we met, because I was like, I want to run a podcast. And so I Googled podcast studio, Wilmington, North Carolina. You know what came up?
Ice Cube Studios.
Ice Cube Studios. And I called you. Pop was like, hey, what up? Like, just like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, good, man. I Googled the top podcast studio in Wilmington, and you came up, and you were like, word? For real? You're like, for real? What? And I was like, yeah, man, I want to come meet you. And you're like, okay, like, when do you want to come by? And I was like, today. And you're like, come on by the studio. Said, bet, man. And I walked in, and like, I came in here and I was like, bro, this place is awesome. Like, this place is dope. And the cool thing about you, dude, is like, you didn't know who I was. You didn't know anything about me. But you, before I even got there, you made calls for me because you're like, hey, I'm not a podcast dude.
Yeah.
And I want to help this guy out.
Yeah.
And so when we sat down, before I even sat down, you were like, hey, man, you need a water? You need a drink? You need this? You introduced me to Yiddle, who's over here. If you don't know who Yiddle is, you should go watch. Like, the dude on the mic, the way he flows is incredible.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Phenomenal.
It's incredible. And I just remember sitting with you and you just being so chill. And you were like, gotta be honest with you, bro. I'm not a real podcast studio. This is a studio, and we do this. I was like, word? Like, what is it? Like, just rap? And you're like, no, I got churches. I got rock bands in here. And then I started noticing all these people. And here you are in like all walks of life.
Yeah.
Everybody you can think of. You walking around, people fist bumping you. People are like, what up, Pop? How you feeling? And you just know these stories about all these people. And you just care so much about the people around you. And even today, you know, I was like, man, I'm not able to help on this podcast. Like, I can't set any of this stuff. I got all these people. I got my ages around me. I got these people around me who's supporting me. I said, I want to go hang out with Pop. And when I walked in today, you know what you were doing? You were just helping another young man. And I was like, that's why I want to highlight Pop, bro. So, like, you're just such a good dude.
I appreciate it, man. That's just that's one of the areas I really never had anybody in support. You know, helping. I never really had that. My dad wasn't in my life, first of all, and I never had any older brothers or anything like that. My uncles were the closest guys to me that were taking the time out with me to teach me things in life. You know, the business aspect side of things, just how to be a man, period.
Yeah.
And I appreciate them for that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, due to my hard head at the time of being a teenager, you know, I wasn't able to be there longer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you were able to reflect back and look back and realize that they were teaching you things, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, maybe you didn't make it at the time.
Yeah.
Right? But you could reflect back and look and be like, oh, they were helping me. And those, if I remember right, those are your uncles that had a studio in South Carolina.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so, like, so you had a couple businesses and you knew you wanted to do something for yourself, and you were like, wait a second. I know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, well, that was before I got the businesses that I came to that conclusion. Like, wait a second, I know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And that's when I thought about everything that I've learned.
Yeah.
And working in that clothing store and being in the studio, going on tours and doing all of that stuff with my uncles at a young age, I guess I never really thought I could do it. And, you know, I thought about it one day and I was like, just give it a try. You know, you were there for all these years working customer service in the store, you know, helping them out in the studio and everything. So, you know, you really good with dealing with people.
Yeah.
And I learned how to deal with vendors and stuff like that as well. So I just kind of went out there on a limb.
Yeah.
I tried my best, even though, like I said, sometimes were failures, but I never gave up.
Yeah. And like, I remember you telling me a story because I was like, man, when I get on the podcast with you, like, I want to learn about like how you got this building, because again, like, you told me like you started with like $500 or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, think about the trials and the tribulations that you had to go through. But then like when you walk around this place, it's like you got all this cool stuff, and it was like, it was you, and the people around you.
Yeah.
And they just kept helping. It became this like community. There's like a community around pop.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool to see, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah, you can't do it all by yourself. At some point in time, I did think that you're able to accomplish something, but that's when you got all the eggs in the basket, if I must say.
Yeah.
The knowledge you may need, all the money you may need, all the resources you may need, which I didn't really have all that.
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of had to pull together who I can and what I can in order to make things work. And it wasn't easy. But, you know, I'm here now today because of trials and tribulations.
Yeah. You know, there's an old saying, if you're going through hell, just don't stop.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
The storm ain't going to last long.
No, it ain't. Just don't stop. You can get through it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's never going, you know, guess what? That storm going to keep going somewhere else.
It is.
It's going to pass over somebody else, and it's going to pass over.
It is.
You just got to keep driving, keep moving, keep walking forward. They call it fail forward.
Mm-hmm.
Fail forward. You know, and it's something that stuck out to me. And like, so I wanted to talk about some free marketing tips for you. And
Okay.
and I'm gonna help you get set up with like, and I didn't tell, well, two things. I got you a book.
Oh, wow. I appreciate it, man.
That's a book that helped me.
How to Flourish.
It's called How to Flourish. It's more of a philosophy book.
Okay.
And you have that within you.
Appreciate that.
You have that within you. And like, it's a hard read when you first start reading it, because you're like, this don't make no sense. But when you start reading it, and you start applying some of the things inside of there,
Got you.
I can't
Makes
wait.
sense.
And I wanted to give that to you. But I also wanted, before we get into the some of the advertising stuff for you for free, or for anybody that's watching, I want to let you know that I know that investing in yourself is tough.
Yeah.
I know it is.
It is.
And it's hard. And I remember you telling me, Matt, like, hey, I just wanted to let you know, like, I'm a little uncomfortable. Like, this is new for me.
Yeah.
And I said, don't worry. Wait till we get on the mic.
Yeah.
And so today, I'm going to let you know that I'm going to make sure that not only I teach you how to do the Facebook ads, but I'm going to put $500 in the ads for you.
Wow.
As
I
a thank
appreciate
you
that.
to you for believing in me before I believe in myself, for picking up the phone when I called and talking me through and helping me when no one else did. Guys, thank you so much for watching the video up to this point. It would mean the world to me if you would subscribe. What I'm trying to do is help local business owners how to market for themselves and shed a light on how awesome they are. This podcast was great. It would mean the world to me if you subscribe, and if you would leave them a Google review. Thank you.
No problem.
That's
man.
that's my thank you to you, because people need to know who Pop is. And so if I can get that $500 and teach you how to run Facebook ads and get people inside of here, because when I first met you, I said, if people just got in front of you, they're going to want to use your studio 100%. I said, just nobody knows you're here.
Yeah.
Unless they Google.
Yeah. A lot of people say that.
And so I'm going to get eyes on you. And I'm going to make sure that I help you get more people in front of you, because I want more people to know about this place. I want more people to, these young people to start exploring these new things and start learning new stuff. Like even today, Yiddle and my best friend Ryan, who's in here, you know, we have this roadcaster set up, and Yiddle was like, oh, you do it like this? He was like, Ryan was like, yeah, I do it this way. And Yiddle was like, oh, bro, I'm always learning. So like,
yeah.
I want more people like that in the community to grow. And like, you're this, to me, you're the staple in this community that people need. Like, you're teaching people stuff. You taught me about lights today. You were like, oh, you don't have lights? 1 second. Be right back. You brought this gas light that was about to burn us out of here.
Yeah.
You know, and all this stuff. You're like, actually, it's too much. Let me do it here, do a backlight. Like, you know this stuff, like, really well. And you can teach these people. And they can come in here and record something. And guess what? At an affordable rate.
Yeah.
Like, come in here. We're going to help you get set up. They're going to make sure that you're comfortable and that you're ready, and you take your time. And you just have a few rules.
Yeah.
Be respectful.
Gotta be respectful.
Gotta be respectful.
You gotta be respectful, man.
Clean up after yourself.
Mm-hmm. And most importantly, when you come into the studio, man, no weapons allowed.
No weapons allowed.
Yeah, we gotta make sure we say that, because whether you registered or not, a lot of people like to try.
Yeah.
You know what I
It's
mean?
just,
So it's a safe environment. We keep everything, well protected. So, just bring yourself, bring your music, bring your podcast equipment, and we're gonna help you get set up.
yeah. Yeah. And then like even today, like I said, everything was trying to get in my way. The
devil's always busy.
it was like the weather, right? And then the table. I had to run out, go grab a table.
Yeah.
Got the chairs. Got it set up. Where the cameras at? Oh, my best friend told me to buy these cameras. I didn't press the button to buy the cameras. Oh. Here come Pop. Don't worry about it. Boom. Cameras ready. Rolling. Hey, you need lights? I got lights. Dude, your level of service for what you do for your clients is insane to me. It's wild how great you are.
I appreciate it.
And like if people would just come in here and just talk to you and talk to the people around you, they can voice their things. They can talk about these things and do a podcast. They can sing the song they want to sing. And you got these sound engineers who are like really good at what they do.
Yeah.
And everybody's learning together. And it's like, man, if people would just hang out with Pop more, man, it's just, you're a cool dude, man.
I appreciate it, man. And, maybe one day, everything will unravel and we will be to that point. I just like to be patient and take my time. And I try to be to other people what I didn't have.
Yeah.
And I try to make the establishment comfortable and inviting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When people come here, I know when I go places, how I would like things, and I try to make sure I do that for others.
That's exactly how you're supposed to do it, man. How do people get a hold of you?
So 9 times out of 10, if they didn't hear about it from somebody else, they find us on Google and they give us a call.
Got it. Give you a call. Is it just that one phone?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to teach you this, or anybody that's watching this is a small business owner. It's very tough to be the only one. Like if it's only your phone and you get calls all the time, like it's tough.
Yeah.
Right? Because you might be in a meeting or something else. You can download something called 8x8. Okay.
Okay.
8x8, you can go download and you can get, and your staff, the people that you work with, can download it on their phone, and it works on the Wi-Fi. It's called a voice over IP.
Okay.
And basically, you can ring it out. So when that main line rings, it rings to everybody in a certain department.
Okay.
So if it's like, it'll be like a phone tree. It's like main line, and it'll be like, okay, are you interested in booking a session? Yes. Okay, well, that goes to 3 people who go to you, Yiddle, and somebody else. And that way, if you're unavailable, someone else can be there for you.
Got you.
Because I know it's tough, and you have to be ready at any time, because what if you miss the call and it's a big client that you just missed out on?
Yeah.
Right. And so having that, it's cheaper. It's almost cheaper than the phone.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested, because doing it the way I've been doing it, I always have to make myself available.
Yeah, you gotta make yourself available. You gotta be the one to text back and all that stuff. And so you can get a CRM, and like I was kind of showing you a little bit, and you can get a CRM, and you can text from that, or any of the people that you work with can text from that, and you can email from that. Send an email blast. You can send like if they subscribe and like they're your customer list, and you're like, and you need to fill some spots because you need some extra cash flow, you can send out a text message blast or a voicemail from you, be like, hey, yo, it's Pop. We got some extra openings this week, and like to fill it, we're gonna give you $10 off for this or whatever it is, right? Like a little promo.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're going to start seeing people automatically book because you're going to have an auto booker on there.
Wow.
So that way you don't have to be the one to book it and look at the calendar. It's going to be a calendar based on what's available.
Got you.
And it's going to be online, so people can pre-book themselves. You can still sift through and make sure you want to work with them because you got a vibe with that person. But you want people that are booking themselves because they want to go to you.
Gotcha.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot
So
of
that
sense.
way, that frees up a lot of your time and a lot of stress on you, so you can start to grow.
Got you.
So having that CRM is like, you got to get it.
Okay, is that an app as well?
Yeah, so you can do an app as well, and you can make phone calls from there. You can do text from there. 8x8's a good one, but like the CRM, you can do everything from there. Text, phone call, email, ringless voicemail. You can make websites. We can run ads. We can do automation, all of it. And like I told you, it ain't that tough. But just like that young man that I was talking to today when I walked in, it's going to suck.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna have to learn some stuff.
Yeah.
But I got your back.
Sounds good, man.
I got your back. I'm gonna be there for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna push you, just like I push you to get your Facebook back.
Oh yeah.
Just like I push you to do that, you know. And me and you would text, me and you would call.
Yeah.
And you text me like, I got my Facebook back, and I'm like, yo, like, let's go, bro. You know what I mean? Because like, I want that for you because I know how hard you've worked, and I want to be able to get those things to you so you can start.
I appreciate that.
Like start to flourish.
Oh yeah,
because you add these little tools, and you learn how to use them. And I believe that so many business owners are just trying to keep the lights on, that they can't take time to learn new stuff. It's just so tough.
Yeah. And
so what I'm trying to do is just tell people about these small things that you can do, and it works. It just takes a little bit. Just like I told young man, you just got to go a little bit harder, just a little bit harder, long enough, and when that moment comes,
it's gonna all pay off.
It's gonna all pay off.
Oh yeah.
And so, like I said, man, I just could not like. I've had so many people reach out to me about the podcast, about wanting to be on. Like, I want to be the first. I want to be the first. I said, nah, I owe it to a great man to be the first podcast. And that's you, Pop.
Man, listen, man. Only thing I can say is I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean? You give me an opportunity to be here with you today. You know, that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
The information you're giving me that's going to help me now and in my future, you know, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ever since I met you, I noticed something about you, that you were real eager to learn, and you were real eager to get your stuff going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I wanted to help you with both of them, because I too needed to learn. Like I told you when we first met, and you told me you were into the marketing, and I told you like, hey, I don't know anything about marketing. Matter of fact,
as he brought this out, look at it. Look at it. As he brought this out.
Yeah. Come to find out, I just recently learned that a lot of us do things that you may not even be aware of you're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I've been marketing slightly without me knowing it.
Yeah.
But you know, in my mind, I'm like, I'm not doing anything. It's just something I love to do. You know, I just may wear a shirt with my name on it, representing the studio, and it's just because, you know, we're trying to represent the brand.
Yeah.
You know, and that's our way of getting it out there. I try radio advertisement and stuff as well.
It's the tough thing about radio advertising that I've dealt with, and I've talked to a bunch of local radio stations or large networks, Sirius XM and all them, is they try to tell you things like we have this many average listeners and we have this many this, but they don't have analytics of what the opt-in rate is, right? And so with the digital marketing, I can show you how many clicks and how many people opted in with their information, and then how many people went and booked their own appointment, and how many people called in because of that.
Yeah.
You can start to see those analytics.
Yeah.
And because of that, you can increase it or decrease it based on what you need.
Got you.
But with the radio ads, it's just like, we're going to talk about you, and hopefully people, that ain't going to do nothing.
Nah, I never received a call and someone said, I heard this on the radio.
Exactly. Now, what's called omnipresence when it comes to marketing is when you run Facebook ads, you run Google ads, you do radio and TV at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because like McDonald's is one of the only companies in the world to do this. They make you see them 7 times a day without you realizing it. When you think about yellow, what do you think? The golden arches, right? When you see this big M, what you think? McDonald's.
Yeah.
They make people gravitate them. So when you're hungry, who you go to?
You're going to go to McDonald's, yeah.
And so then they learn how to market kids. They put so much stuff on the toys. The kids want the toys. Guess where you want to go? Guess where a kid wants to go? Kids are the best salespeople of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So all they had to do was market to the kids, and they're going to kick and scream until they get the McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
You see how smart
Still
McDonald's
to this
is?
day. Yes, sir.
It's crazy. They understand the psychology, and that's what I'm trying to teach people is like how to think a little bit differently in that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when done correctly, it doesn't take a whole lot. Your business can just skyrocket. It may not be McDonald's, right? But what if we 10x'd what you're currently doing? What if we 5x'd it? You see how exciting that is?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, it can be done. It's gonna be tough, but it can be done, and I'm gonna help you work through it.
I appreciate that. You know, and I expected it to be tough. Life was tough.
Yeah.
You know, nothing comes easy. You know, so I'm willing to put in the work and do whatever it takes to get it done.
Cool beans, man. Well, I appreciate you chatting with me today, man. I can't wait to get started. And for anybody that's watching, if you're in Wilmington, like, you need to look up Ice Cube Studios on Google. You need to meet Yiddle. You need to meet Pop. You need to meet everybody in this studio, because it is the coolest place that I have found in Wilmington so far. And they're so nice of people. And it's like, I don't know, man. You gotta look at them up. There's gonna be a link in the bottom or something like that. Like, I'm gonna make sure that people know about you, Pop, for as long as I'm here, because you the man.
And I'm gonna do the same thing. Make sure y'all come check us out, man. Ice Cube Studios.
Absolutely. That's it, Pop.
Well, yeah. Sheesh.